Hello, friends, and welcome to the space where we discuss business, landscaping, beer, and everything in between. I'm your host, Heather Gerard from My Landscape Artist here in London, Ontario, Canada. And this is Season 2 of Hops and Hedges. Stay tuned after each episode for a message from our sponsor, ext.tech. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in. There we go. Welcome to the show. With me today is Fred Post from Landscaping Advisors in Grimsby, Ontario. Fred, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Heather. It's my pleasure.
I think we either ran into each other or we saw each other in passing at the recent Landscape Ontario Congress.
I'm sure we did. Yeah.
You've been, I think, going to LO events for quite some time now.
Oh man, yeah, way back in the day, back
Way
in
back in the day.
the old Sheraton building, you know.
Wow.
So that would have been set in the 70s, I think.
Holy smokes. So for those
Yeah.
who are tuning in and who are maybe not aware of you or your company, can you let our listeners know who you are and what's your business?
Yeah, so I started up Landscaping Advisors to assist those. Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
To assist those who are getting involved in landscaping and coming out of school and going, what, how do I go? Where do I go? How do I start? And I've always been a good a proponent of not taking the information that I have and taking it to the grave with me. So I really wanted to go out and to share it with the people who are coming down the pipeline. And I always thought that was kind of important, that you just don't ride off into the sunset without leaving a little bit of a mark for others to follow. And it doesn't always have to be good news. It can also be bad news that people can, you can teach them, hey, this is what I did wrong, and don't follow the same, footsteps that way. But I can teach you how to do it right, kind of thing, because we've been there, done it, right?
Yeah.
And so I was interviewed by Landscape Ontario. I think it was 4 years ago, just before or at the trade show, I think maybe. And they put in a put me in a under a mentor moment. And at the time, I was really starting to think about, the end game of what was I going to do with all the information that I'd learned along the way. And then with that interview, it kind of prompted me, because I got stopped on the street one day by one of my former employees in Grimsby, and or my former employer in Grimsby here, and he said, "So, Fred," he says, "you're taking a different path." And I said, "Well, I've always had this idea of doing this and whatnot." He goes, "And you don't have a clue on how to do it?" And I said, "No, I have no clue. I have no idea where to start." And then um, I just started doing research and looking into the internet and how I could do this and different platforms. And so I started with doing something that people were struggling with, and that's the landscape design program that we use, which is a 3D program. And I've pretty much mastered it. So it's, for me, it was very simple to put a tutorial together, and that's what I started with. And now we have, I don't know how many, I think there's about 25 or some tutorials that we have up on our website, as well as ebooks and, things that you can learn and whatnot, that are, kind of things that you would need to know.
Yeah, you on your website, you have a number of different offerings between courses for both homeowners and contractors, which is great to see.
Yes.
You've got ebooks, you've got coaching, but that's not actually where it all started, right? So your
No.
business actually started in 1990. You were a design build.
Yes. I was a
So,
design build. I was one of these guys with a drafting table,
yep.
and up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I had a storefront in downtown Grimsby, and I remember one night I was working. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was just me and my drafting table, and that was the best time for me to design. And the lights were on, and all of a sudden I get a knock on the door, and it was a police officer just making sure everything was okay.
Oh,
It's
geez.
like, well, yeah, I'm just working. And he goes, oh, he says, can I buy you a coffee? I said, sure, and we sat
Yeah.
down and had coffee together, and
Oh,
it was
that's
kind of
awesome.
cool. But that was how it started.
Yeah.
And Uh, I kind of ran into some physical problems, health problems back in 2002. So that kind of made me push all the landscape construction out of the way and just, delve into landscape design, which is what I kind of took over from that point on because I had to come back from pancreatic cancer, which was quite the hill to climb back out of, and
No kidding.
um, I couldn't work for a number of years, and I just couldn't. I was going stir crazy, so I took the bull by the horns for landscape design and just went nuts with that, and yeah, here
That
we are.
is not an easy
So
thing or an easy
no,
card in life to be dealt. First, you get the news that you've got pancreatic cancer, then you have to work through it, then you have to recover it from it. Like what a journey that is all on its own. And the fact
yeah,
that you know what your passion was, and it was in the profession and industry of landscaping and horticulture and landscape design, and you pivoted. Like well
yeah. Well,
before COVID, you
you can roll
pivoted
over.
before
Yeah.
we all had to, you know?
You can roll over or you can, take it and run with it, right? So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and you know what? It is really a lot of fun. I mean, we live in an age where um, we can do, designs for people around the world, right? And it's just how you take that technology and you just kind of use it to your advantage. And
Right.
um, you're mentioning coaching. I'm coaching a large company in Maine actually next week, which is they have 6 designers on staff and they're all having trouble with the design program.
Yep.
So they asked me if I would be able to coach the whole design team, and I said, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
We can do this. It's all, technology is there. It's at our fingertips, and we can just embrace it or we can lose it, right?
And so when you say software, are you talking about SketchUp or InDesign or both?
No, actually, I use
Or Idea Spectrum, sorry.
yeah, Idea Spectrum. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's a platform that started, I think, just over 20 years ago, and it was very basic at the time. It was kind of Mickey Mouse, but it got the point across. And back in the day, when 3D design was just kind of coming off and into the public realm, it was like we would say to the clients, well, this is kind of what it looks like.
Right.
This is kind of what it's going to look like.
Hmm.
So you were taking what was in here and, giving them a 3D image that kind of is, and
Representative.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
representative. But nowadays, you have to be 100% accurate. You have to be 100% accurate with your grade shots, with the amount of steps. People expect it to be 100% accurate when you show them a 3D. And you can say to them, or we can say to them now, it's like, this is exactly what it's going to look like. So there is no doubt, there's no question anymore. We don't go
Wow.
in with the attitude well, this is kind of what it's going no, this is exactly what it's going to look like. And you can
Hmm.
talk to the customers that we do deal with, and they say, yeah, this is it 100%.
Wow,
100%.
that is crazy accurate. I know,
Yeah.
at least for myself, it's like this is a conceptual design. Even
Okay.
I've taken the grades, I see where the storm water is, but until I stick a shovel in the ground, because it's happened
Yeah.
before where we stick the shovel in the ground and there's a
Yeah.
buried patio. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is going to change things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes
Yeah.
it's,
I've seen what you do, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people, I think, when it comes to design and whatnot, and you have your footprint, and I think it's great.
well, thank you.
And I think that we kind of think along the same line. Designers are a different breed, right? They're like
Yeah.
goalies in a hockey game.
Yeah.
They're totally different than the people who are actually doing the work and whatnot. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, we have taken it to that level because the customer demanded it, at
Right.
that point.
Okay.
Um,
Very cool. I have so many questions for you. Your
Sure.
pre-interview questionnaire, you have lots of goodies in there that I can't wait to get into.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to ask you a really important question. I want to know
Okay.
what are you drinking? What's in your glass over there?
I'm drinking a rum and coke.
Rum and Coke. Very nice. And what
Yeah.
kind of rum is it? Because I
It's,
also like rum.
oh yeah, it's the
Yeah.
Captain.
Captain
Captain
Morgan?
Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried
Yeah,
the
I
Kraken?
yes, I did. Yep. Yeah, it's just got a little bit of a different edge to it. It's not
Yep.
my favorite, but
Okay.
I've always been a Captain Morgan fan. I love the his style, the
Yep.
leg up on the barrel, and I got this under control kind of thing. So
Is that a lady up on the barrel? I thought it was like a male
no,
captain.
it is.
What
Yeah.
a okay.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I thought you said the lady up on the barrel, and
No,
I'm like,
no,
I
no.
are we talking about the same Captain Morgan? Like, I want to know where this female pirate rum is.
No, no. It's a male. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, I've always
Very
been a fan of that. So.
nice. Well, I knew
Mhm.
that you were a rum guy, so I actually came prepared, and I am drinking bamboo rum. Have you tried
Oh
this
yes,
one?
I've had that before. That is good stuff. Yeah.
This is nice. This is
Yeah.
actually made in Panama, and then
Hmm.
it's finished in sherry oak bottle or oak barrels to
It's
finish.
nice, eh? Yeah.
And then this is not all bamboo rum. I like to
Oh
mix mine
no.
with a bit of Perrier.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a
But
Perrier girl.
the rum is for those days that you have the client that keeps coming back, right? The
Yep.
one that annoying client that's like, oh, I changed my mind. I changed. I know.
Or today, it was minus 27 degrees Celsius when we woke up.
Right?
So I was like, today's a rum day.
Yes,
I don't want a
absolutely.
cold beer.
No,
I want a rum.
I agree 100%.
I'm wearing my winter toque and my sweater and I've got a blanket on my lap and I'm inside and
Ah,
but anyway.
I hate the
Good. Cheers
cold.
to you.
Yeah, cheers to you too,
To
Heather.
rum.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
All
Oh,
right, ask
that is good.
away.
Okay. So, one thing that you mentioned, and I always love asking people on the show, is that if somebody was looking to start their own business,
Yes.
what would be your number one piece of advice? And you said never stop learning and
Yeah.
growing your knowledge. And what does that
Yeah.
mean to you?
Um, you know what? I was just before your podcast. I'm listening to somebody who's teaching right now, and they're teaching, how the world is evolving and changing and whatnot. So, if you think that what you know or what you learn in school is the end all be all, you haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg yet.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I'm still learning today. Like there is no end to learning, and the more knowledge you have, the more clout you have when it comes to the competition. So, if you're going to sit back on your laurels and wait for everything to come to you because you learned it in college or you went to university and you think you know it all, no, that's only the beginning. That's
Yeah.
that's only the beginning of what you're going to end up doing because I went through the school of hard knocks. Okay, so I quit school when I was 16. I was one of these guys who, I don't need school. I can do this on my own, and I'd like to work. I love working, and found a job in horticulture. Got a job working for this grass guy in Burlington, and was pushing lawnmower for a year or two. And I loved it. I just loved getting up early in the morning and being out there and working 12 hours a day. I just loved it, and I knew the minute that I got into landscaping that was it. That was going to be my career. And then I had a cousin. I don't know if you know Gilderman Landscaping in
Yeah.
Burlington. So he's actually related to me.
Hmm.
His wife is Hank Gelderman's wife is my cousin. And you know how the family kind of operates back in the 70s, right? It's like, well, I'll go talk to Hank. He'll give you a job. And so I ended up working for Hank as a first a grass guy, and then we started getting dabbling into construction a little bit with the railroad ties and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And then we I wanted to move on into doing nothing but full-time construction. And he said, Fred, he says, there's a program out by the government of Ontario. You have to go to it. I said, what's the program? He says, it's for mature students. You can get paid to go to school. and you can get a diploma in horticulture, and this is something I would really recommend that you do. And he says it's in the off season.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ah, perfect, right? So I ended up going to Sheridan College, and I got my diploma in horticulture, green as a greenskeeper, and landscape construction technology.
Yep.
So that was the beginning of my career. And
Wow.
fast forward that, I mean, my goal at the time was to start a company, but by the time I was 25. So I wanted to get as much experience as possible doing construction. So I
Hmm.
worked for a couple of different companies doing different avenues of landscape construction, and then I started on my own in 1985 with a fistful of dollars and a beat up pickup truck, and it was just one of these crazy I dare you kind of thing,
Yeah.
and I thought, why not? What have I got to lose, right? And then I think it was 5 years later, I had like a workforce of 22 people, and
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I was going crazy. And anyways, that was long story short. It was learning along the way, right from day one to even now. Like I said, I'm listening to a podcast, somebody teaching us how to navigate the waters of AI and what's that going to do to our lives, and how do we uh, control that beast, if you will,
Hmm.
in the upcoming seasons of what's going to happen in the industry.
Yeah,
So,
it's a crazy world out there. But
mhm,
it's so interesting. You and I know we've had so many guests on the show too who say the same thing about this ongoing learning, is that in
mhm,
the world of horticulture and landscaping, just like the how the environment changes and how plants change and gardens change over time,
yep,
it is always moving and there's always something new. There's always a new technology or a new way of doing things or a new tool. And there's something exciting about that.
yes,
Like
very
no
much
two
so.
days are the same.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember when I um, just stop me if I get off on a tangent, okay?
Oh, I will.
Um,
Don't you worry.
when the internet first came out, um, so I was fascinated by computers and whatnot. So I bought this 386 computer. Bought it secondhand for 4 grand, and it had a little monitor and whatnot. And Dynascape came out. Oh no, sorry. There was another program that came out. I forget what it's called, but it was a line thing, and you could create figures and symbols and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is really cool. This is going to be the next step for landscape design. We don't have to do this by hand anymore. If we
Hmm.
have to make a change, we can just delete and we can add. And I thought that this was just fantastic. So somebody talked me into starting up a website, and this is back in. It's got to be 1991. 1991, I think. Somebody said, you got to get a website because you can sell now. You can sell designs all over the world." And I'm like, "Yeah, I could do that." And so I did, and it cost me a fortune to get this website up. And I thought, how am I going to recoup this money, right? Like, I'm just a small guy, and whatnot. So I started advertising that I was doing landscape designs online, and I get this call or email from somebody from Texas. They had this great big sprawling ranch, and they like, "Hey, you do landscape design remote and all that kind of stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He says, "Would you consider doing our ranch?" And I said, "Absolutely." "And what are the fees?" "Well, no, this
Yeah.
program just cost me 5 grand, and the computer cost me 4 grand. I said, "How about 10 grand?" He
Yeah.
said, "Okay." I'm like, "What?"
Done.
Done.
Yeah.
So I did a design for them, and sent them all the specs and everything else. It took me a couple weeks to put it all together, and I got a check in the mail for 10 grand. Just paid for everything. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be something.
Yeah.
And, and then we move up into better programs and all that kind of stuff. And now here we are. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it's
How
fun.
things change. I know I remember selling my first project that was over the $20,000 mark.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, like
Right?
leading up to that, it's
Like,
always,
yeah.
like small garden renovations. Usually they're between 5 and 7, I would say is the
Yeah.
norm for my business. And even
Right.
currently, I do a lot of 5 to 7K, very small renovations or massive cleanups so that then they can start looking after it.
Nothing
But I
wrong with that.
remember,
That's a niche.
oh
That's
yeah, and
great.
I love doing it. I
Yeah,
really do.
sure.
Also, it's about all that my Honda Civic can handle. My
Okay.
trusty work truck, yeah, is a Honda
Yeah.
Civic. So it's okay. I've got a picture of a Ford Transit up here on my vision board. So one day that'll happen. But yeah, Honda Civic. Bless my husband. He's very understanding when I come home and there are rolls of sod in the back seat.
Oh,
I've
nice.
had a baby blue spruce in the trunk before.
Oh
Oh
boy.
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So
Hey, you
it's
do
just
what you
funny
have
when you're
to.
small, right? And then you
Nothing
do
wrong
that
with it.
one thing that gets you bigger and it just starts to kind of snowball after that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. It's like
Um,
your podcast, right? Like
yeah, which also started on a dare. You know, you talking about
yeah.
doing services where it was kind of like an I dare you moment. It was at Landscape Congress 2024.
I I watched
Yeah.
your very first one. I
Oh yeah.
watched your very first one. Yeah. And then it was like, yeah, I'm not sure and all this kind of stuff. And then I watched your um middle episode.
Okay.
You're you're in Florida at the
Oh yeah,
time.
that was a tough one.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
You were by yourself and whatnot. But hey, great for pouring out your heart and whatnot.
Thank
People
you.
admire you for that. I'm sure. But I watched that one too, and I'm like, yeah, she's really going someplace. Like, and I'm sure that you like even some of the people you interviewed, like, Joe and I can think of Thornboss and
Mhm.
like all these guys that are in the industry and they've been in the industry since I've been in the industry and it's really kind of neat. It's a niche, I think that you're kind of capturing that again, people who are coming out of university and college and whatnot can really benefit from. So,
Absolutely. Well, thank
yeah,
you for saying so. It was
yes,
part of the driving forces behind it is that,
mm,
regardless of how big or small our companies are or how long we've been around, I think we all have stories to share. And I
yeah,
think we all have lessons that we've learned that maybe we can help that person right out of your university not
absolutely.
do what we did.
Yeah, not
So
to make the same mistakes, right?
yep. And as somebody of that generation where you're one of the people that I'm looking up to and I'm seeing, okay, what has this person done? How can I emulate what these people are doing when my business is only 5 years old, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's such an incredible network. So the podcast is
yeah.
just one way to give back and hopefully get all of our names out there more.
That's
So
great. Yeah, I think it's great.
so one of the things on uh, the questionnaire, I'm interested in to know what sort of tools or software people are using. And you had
Hmm.
mentioned the idea spectrum,
Yes,
but also your laptop. And as
yes.
soon as when I read that, I got to tell you, so I'm using an HP Envy laptop that I got in 2012 as a gift for my husband because I
Uh-huh.
could not afford a laptop.
Right.
And it needs replacement. So I am so interested in knowing what is your laptop? Do you love it? Do you recommend it?
Hmm.
What is it?
Yeah, I have an Asus, and it's a Rogue. It is kind of top of the line, year old. It's a year old now.
Okay.
Some of the keys are missing and whatnot, but I work it to death. And
Yep.
but it's great. It's got an Intel i9, Intel Core i9.
Yep.
It's a very fast machine.
Hmm.
And it's got a lot of memory, but I also have a lot of external memory that I end up using because I do so many videos, so many tutorial videos, and it was I guess about a year ago, or not even a year ago, 6 months ago, my computer was like, "You have no memory left," and I'm like,
What?
"Wait, what? Wait, what?" So I started going back, and of course, you're looking at um, the idea spectrum program. I have it set up so that it backs up every 15 minutes, so I
Oh,
don't
okay.
lose no more than 15 minutes worth of work. And having that set up is fantastic, but the problem is on the back end, you don't realize how much it eats up your memory.
Oh,
And then I ended up going into the backup, and there's like, I don't know, 50 gigs of memory that I could free up just because I didn't need it anymore, right?
right.
So yeah, going back to your question, I use an Asus Rogue. It's never let me down, and it's been a fantastic machine. This is my second one that I've had
Okay.
from Asus.
And
So I
Asus,
would,
like I know it more as a like it's Asus is more known as a gaming laptop,
yes,
right? So great for
yes,
imaging, 3D
yes,
rendering, stuff like
yeah,
that. So,
absolutely, yeah.
okay.
So yeah, so if you have a good gaming laptop, that would do the trick.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
I have two monitors.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, I have three monitors. Yeah, and I put all my workspace on one, like my pictures and whatnot. So if I'm doing a design for somebody, the one monitor has all the pictures and video,
Yep.
and then I have my other work stuff that's on another monitor that is strictly for, the internet and talking to people and all that kind of stuff. And then my main, is the center console. So
Okay.
um, it's a great system for me. I can take it with wherever I go. I like
Yep.
to travel, so this comes with me like just like my regular clothes come with me wherever I go. So
Nice.
yeah,
I cannot travel. Well, I can travel, just not very easily because
no,
of all the I've got an external podcasting camera that's hooked up, I've got a mic that's hooked up, I've got a light that's hooked up, my secondary screen. And then if I unplug the power cable to this laptop, it's dead. Like the battery is it's
yeah,
done. And my husband, bless his heart, he's a software guy. And he's just like every day, he's like, "So, do you want to go to Best Buy and look at laptops?" I'm like, "Oh, not today." He's like, "We really should, like, this needs to happen." You were talking about external memory and storage. So I know that so my husband and I at the house, we have a NAS,
oh
NAS.
yeah,
I don't know. Is that something you're familiar with?
no, this is what
External?
I use.
Oh, okay. That's a data. Oh, it's just an
Yeah,
external, like a memory bank.
external hard drive. Yep,
Okay.
and it's you know what? It saved my life a couple times already. I back up all my stuff on there because I have. Like I sell a lot of stuff on my website, like models and stuff too, right? So,
Yeah.
and I was working through that over Christmas, and it's like, oh my goodness, I think I deleted a file that I shouldn't have deleted, and it was all the 3D models that I had created over the last 10 years.
Oh my
Okay, so,
God.
and I'm like, I bet you I have it on my hard drive, and sure enough, it was still on my hard drive, but.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
I thought, man, oh man, because if I lose that, that's like you can't replace that. Like that's 10 years of work that you kind of put on side all the time, right? So,
That would have been a double rum day.
oh yeah, oh,
Yeah.
a bottle of rum.
Yeah, at least. Oh my gosh. I can just like my anxiety's going up just thinking about that. So you may have inspired me to finally talk with my husband and do what I have to do because I've only got 5 years of data and designs and client
Yeah,
files on this laptop.
yeah, and you don't want to
If
lose
I lose
that.
that, oh gosh,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
okay.
no, I like I said, Heather, I back up everything, and sometimes I double back up things, and it's only because of what I thought the future was going to hold when it comes to, the website and stuff. Like even I tell my students too that I teach the 3D program. I say, every time you create something, you should save it as something that goes in your library because no doubt you are going to need it again.
Right.
And that model is proven true over and over and over. Like I have thousands of different models that I have saved over the years, and it just makes my life so much easier, right?
So
So
this is the what is it? The prompt for anybody who's listening right now. This is us telling you to go out, get an external memory bank and back that thing up that you've been putting off. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. No, no.
yeah,
Do it now. This is your sign.
yeah,
This is your sign.
yeah.
Let's learn from Fred and Heather's mistakes. Just just get just get the external backup going.
There you go.
So we've got a few more minutes here, but I wanted to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my heart that you put on your questionnaire, and that is that I always like to ask people about certain things that they struggle with. Not necessarily that it affects their business, but it's something, that's present in your life. And one of the things that you mentioned was both depression and seasonal affective disorder, right?
Mhm.
So I am
Yeah.
actually, I was diagnosed in 2014 with depression.
Okay.
I probably should have been diagnosed a lot earlier,
Right.
but I put it off. I was like, okay, I'm gonna try
Right.
yoga. I'm gonna try giving up caffeine. That was a
Yeah.
horrible idea.
Right.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yeah. Don't give up caffeine.
no.
That's like
Caffeine and
giving up
alcohol
rum.
are just, yeah. You know
Yeah.
what? I need my coffee and I need my rum and my beer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just can't. I just can't. Uh, but seasonal affective
Yeah.
disorder is something that a lot of people still are not even aware of.
No, I know. And my wife is she's bless her heart. She doesn't like the fact that I don't like winter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can understand that. There was a time in my life where I loved it. Like I loved winter.
Mm-hmm.
Because but then I was young, so we could go to the Alps and we could ski and we could, go up north and ski and we had a snowmobile and we had a
Mm.
cottage up north and do all the fun things that young people do. But nowadays it's like I really don't want. I hate like I don't want to be out there in minus 25 degrees.
No.
I gotta and walking on crunchy snow like that just
Yeah.
it's like people eating styrofoam. I just hate it.
Yeah.
Um, so if it was just up to me, I'd have a place in Florida and I'd be gone.
Yeah.
I can work from wherever. It doesn't really matter. But she's a teacher and she can't get away anyway. So,
Right.
it's a matter of, grin and bear it. But, yeah, I'm with you. I hate winter and, it does, add to some of the anxiety or depression or whatever that other hook that you can kind of grab onto.
Yeah.
And it is real, whether we like it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Um, as
And we
far as
don't struggle with it alone. There's so many people out there who
yeah,
think, oh, I got this diagnosis and,
yeah,
yeah, I better not tell anybody. Guess what?
yeah,
You're welcome to the club.
yes.
There's, there's
And,
actually
and
more of us out there than a lot of people know.
Yeah, and I know you've talked about your mental, like your depression and stuff like that, and it is it's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
We all go through things in life. Um, in Dutch, we have this old saying that every house has a cross to bear kind of thing, and it's true. Every house does have a cross to bear. And nobody really knows what's inside that house. For me, it was they attributed it to me having cancer 22 years ago,
Yep.
and it was a real thing that just kind of came out and ended up being part of my life that yeah it didn't make me always the nicest person to be around and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But that was they attributed it to the fact that I had to survive cancer and kind of deal with that. So there is that aspect of things that is yeah, it's just something that we kind of deal with in private, I think sometimes,
Yep.
and I don't know if that's a good thing all the time, you know?
Absolutely. Well, I know that we've had other people mention it, not just on the podcast, but it becomes dangerous when we feel, especially with seasonal affective disorder. It usually hits me around March, right? Like
Yeah,
right now, I'm still really buzzed from Congress. Like I'm just full of
right.
ideas and excitement, and
Yep,
this
yep,
podcast, meeting all these people from all over the globe really feeds me and keeps me up. But usually around March, I'm like, okay, I need to be planting. Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
really need to plant something.
Yeah, winter
And
needs to be 2 months shorter than it actually is.
yeah,
I know.
so
I know.
March hits me pretty hard. But
Yeah.
when we realize like, oh, other people are kind of going through this too, right?
Yeah. So you know what you need to do, Heather? You need to book a vacation in March. We're going away in March,
Where are you
and
going? Got an extra ticket? Where are we going?
I'm going to my home country, Netherlands.
Oh, very nice. Is that going to be
Yeah.
nice weather in March?
Yeah, actually, it can be very nice. The tulips start to come out and bloom in March, so we're hoping.
Man, that
But
would be such a cool thing to see, the tulips in the Netherlands. Wow.
I know. I know. I have a daughter who lives in England, and we decided to fly over to, because all my cousins and whatnot live in Holland. So, but then my daughter's flying over to spend 10 days with us in the Netherlands. So
Oh,
that's
that's
kind of cool.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
That's really cool. Yeah.
I'm hoping that one day someone's gonna call me up, or maybe I'll get the guts to call somebody up in March who lives somewhere warm. I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Hi, do you need a
Yeah.
resident landscape designer for about a month and a
Yes.
half? You
I'm
know,
coming.
I'll trim your trees, I'll plant stuff, I'll be your personal shopper. I
You'll
just
be
need a
homeless, but
tent,
hey.
Oh no, they'll need to cover accommodations,
Oh, of course.
obviously. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
the fee for the airplane, but that's I'm ready. So anybody who's
I
listening,
I wish you
invite me
well.
over. Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, maybe one day.
Yeah.
Um, so lastly, before we wrap up here, I always like asking people about books that have either changed them or inspired them. And on your questionnaire, you mentioned the Bible. So that's the first one on the show. We haven't had anybody mention
No,
the
eh?
Bible before. But is
Mm.
there like either a part or a lesson or an anecdote or a something there that you think could really benefit people specifically in business? Like, is there something like,
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm a Christian, right? I
Mhm.
think that's probably obvious, but at the same time, I believe that Christ was probably the best mentor that anybody could have, and he had so many good sayings that nobody can even match him. And there are things that you can use in business from him just as well as anything else, right?
Mhm.
Um, so and I didn't put that on there lightly.
Yeah.
I did have to really think about it, and I thought, you know what? It's true though. Like as Christians, we kind of go through life like this, and when you have the opportunity to take that and make that a blessing for somebody else, then hey, go for it. So,
Absolutely.
uh, yeah, I think that people can benefit from stuff that he's taught. Absolutely, for sure, in
And is there
business.
any aspect specifically? Do you have a favorite part or favorite lesson or something you'd like to pass on to our listeners?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's so many. I think that some of the best are, the fact that you need to stay humble, and that you need to be faithful, and you need to be righteous, if you want to take righteous as a word of, being uh don't be a cheat,
Yeah.
like be who you are, like be honest with who you're dealing with, and if you are honest with whoever you're dealing with, um, then it's just going to come back to you again. So just be yeah, just be good.
Just be good.
Just be good.
I like
Yeah.
that. Well, with that, I think we're going to end this episode. That is a great way to end it. I think the only
Too
one that I
early.
can, was that? It's too early?
It's too early.
The only one that I can think of from the Bible is, and I'm gonna mess it up because I don't know it verbatim, but the prayer that is give me the strength to change what I
Mm.
can and know the difference. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, I don't even know it, but that
No,
one,
but
when I get it right, is actually quite powerful because some
there you
mornings,
go.
especially with depression, you have
Yes.
to kind of look in the mirror and be like, okay, is this something that I have the power to change?
Yeah.
Or is it not? Because if it's not, I really can't afford to put any of my emotional energy into this right now, right? And to be
Yeah.
able to know the difference. So
Yeah.
that would be my takeaway from the
Well,
Bible.
it is great. It's great what you're doing, and like I said, it's you're inspiring, I think, to a lot of people who are not knowing where to go and where to learn and whatnot. And here you are, just
Well,
giving it to the
thank you for
world.
it's only great because people like you come on the show,
Oh,
right?
thank you.
I'm just the platform. You guys are sharing your lessons. So thank you
Mm.
again, Fred Post from Landscaping Advisors in Grimsby. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, and I'm sure we'll bump into each other at future Landscape Ontario events.
I hope so. Yeah.
Okay. Cheers,
Okay.
Fred.
Thanks.
That concludes this week's episode, hosted by me, Heather Gerard at My Landscape Artist. Now, before you go, here's some info about our sponsor, ext.tech.
In today's fast-paced world, your landscaping business needs modern solutions to keep up with the change. That's where EXT comes in. EXT is revolutionizing the way you manage projects and streamlines your landscaping, snow removal, and construction operations. Instead of juggling 5 different software packages, endless spreadsheets, losing track of leads, and missing out on potential sales, you could be leveraging AI job routing, client management, and financial insights with a modern mobile app that employees love to use. With EXT's flat rate pricing, you'll never be caught off guard. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech today to learn more. And for additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you. See you next week for another episode of Hops and Hedges.